Okay, welcome back. I was just having another look in the break at this one, because there are other beings around, up Shakyamuni Buddha, if you want to do further visualization. So up the top here is Vajrasattva, which we're probably going to come to now, but I think we're all fairly familiar with Vajrasattva. Is that correct? Am I correct about that? Yes, I think I'm correct about that. So up here is Vajrasattva. Up here, I was thinking this one, I'm not 100% sure because white. I was thinking Amethyst. It's not Amethyst, actually. It's got a, looks like a Vajra. I have to check that one. Down here is Kunrig, one of the long life Buddhas. Oh, that, you know, we have like White Tara, Kunrig, and this one, Nam Gyalma, for long life. So she has Buddha on the crown and holding a Buddha. So Nam Gyalma, the Buddha is said to have come out of Nam Gyalma's crown. So I guess that's why we see that there. So seen as like mother of Buddhas. So one of the, is that stupa, Lama Yeshe stupa, is that Nam Gyalma? It's one of the 8 stupas, Nam Gyalma stupa. I know the one we had at Vajrayana Institute, so it's got the white, it's got the round, the rings. So, anyway, stupa with the rings. No, 5 levels. Not that one. Anyway, so long life, those ones, Vajrasattva, and to check that one. Anyway, so there's lots to visualize in there. And then at the end, we're still on page 52, there's another confession prayer, and you don't very often, I was just checking in the commentaries, you don't very often get a commentary on that. And I remember asking Geshe Sampton for a commentary on the general confession, because you don't very often get a commentary on the general confession, because Geshe Sampton used to do full days on the 35 Buddhas and commentary on the confession prayer, but not the general confession. And still waiting for that one, personally. But we do have this instruction from Rinpoche in the retreat book on page 52, how to meditate on the general confession. So this is where it incorporates, as you, you know, both generating the mind of regret and the mind of emptiness. As you confess each of the negative actions contained in the prayer, think you've created this negative action not just once, but countless times in this and beginningless past lives, whether you remember it or not, generate very strong regret. The stronger regret, the greater the purification. Then reflect on the emptiness of each of these negative actions, remembering that even negative actions do not truly exist from their own side. So they arise in dependence on causes and conditions and merely labeled by the mind. You either think they're completely non-existent from their own side, or merely labeled by mind, or mere hallucination. So different ways of contemplating to get the sense of emptiness, right? Whichever method you use, the conclusion should come in your heart that each of these negative actions are completely empty, not existing from their own side, even the slightest atom. So having had a little bit of teachings and understanding about emptiness, it's like whatever understanding we have at this point. So if one has time, as you go through the general confession prayer, which the English is on page 54, I, who am named, say your name, circling a cycle existence, etc., overpowered by delusions such as attachment, hatred, and ignorance by means of my body, speech, and mind, have completed the 10 non-virtuous actions. We could stop there, pause, bring any specifically to mind. and think, you know, great regret, anything specific that we have, because it's very good to have specific examples that we want to purify, as well as anything that we've done since beginningless time, which is absolutely everything, particularly those that are not yet purified. And then we think this is empty of existing from its own side. It's a mere hallucination. So we can pause at each point, right? And then you could go on, committed the 5 heavy negative karmas without break. Pause. And you might not be able to call any of those in mind in this lifetime that you're aware of, but just think any of those I've done. And committed the 5 nearing heavy negative karmas without break. So, or you could group those 3 together, pause at number 23 and reflect like that. I have transgressed the vows of individual liberation. So pratamoksha vows, that when we take refuge, you know, the no killing, no stealing, no lying, no sexual misconduct, no intoxicants, right? Think about those, call that to mind. And if we've taken bodhisattva vows, transgress the vows of bodhisattvas, so call any that I've transgressed. And those of us have been doing studies of the bodhisattva's way of life. We've been going through all the, you know, sort of the bodhisattva vows, the 18 bodhisattva vows, 46 secondary offences and so forth with Venerable Karts. And then as you go through that in finer detail and read some commentaries, you go, oops, oops, oops. So yeah, purify all your oops. So with a strong mind of regret, as Rinpoche says, stronger the better. And I think that is empty of existing inherent. It doesn't mean I can get away with things. So we're talking about in conventional reality, ultimate reality, right? And transgress the samayas of secret mantra. So the vows, tantric vows, for those who've taken tantric vows, highest yoga tantra empowerments and tantric vows come along there, or they all come along there. Okay. And you can pause there. I have been disrespectful to my parents. You can pause there. In what ways is this unfinished business with them? It's empty. So you can go regret, generate that mind of regret. It is empty. Disrespect for my Vajra masters, that's if you've taken tantric empowerments, and my abbot, those of us who are ordained, and disrespectful to my spiritual friends living in ordination, Sangha. I have committed actions harmful to the 3 rare sublime ones. So pause there too. I have committed actions harmful to the 3 rare sublime ones, so Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Abandoned the holy Dharma. So it gets a bit frightening when you find out some of the fine print about abandoning the holy Dharma. It doesn't mean that you walk off the property and say, I never want to go there again, and da, 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 da. There can be some very technicalities there that you go, oh, have I done that? You know, not just like in our, as I was saying at the beginning of today, we take refuge, not just saying the words, but what that actually means to do. And then if we're acting counter to that. Criticize the Arya Sangha. How do we know who a highly realized being is? So just don't criticize. A direct, you know, someone who's directly realized emptiness. Harm sentient beings and so on. So we can pause any harm that we haven't yet confessed, that we haven't yet called to mind. Strong regret. It is empty of existing from its own side, dependent arising. Think about it in all the different ways. These are many other non-virtuous negative actions that I've done, caused others to do, and have rejoiced in others doing, and so forth. So similar to in the confession prayer, but here we're pausing to, generate regret and so forth. In the presence of the great Guru Vajradhara, or the Buddhism Bodhisattvas, or by in the 10 directions of Venerable Sangha, I admit this entire collection of faults and transgressions. So this is truly a very complete confession, that are obstacles to my own high rebirth and liberation and causes of cyclic existence in lower realms. I do not conceal them. I accept them as negative. I promise. So here we're making the resolve, the power of restraint or resolve. I promise to refrain from doing these actions again in the future. So this is where Rinpoche says at the end, pause and make the determination. Make it realistic, promise realistic, even if you're promising simply not to do the negative action for just the notes. 5 minutes or seconds is to make sure you do not tell a lie to the merit field, okay?
This book has a short commentary on that. one bit that was interesting was the difference between admit and confess. And admitting is saying you've done it, but confess includes the element of regret.
Okay, so admit is, yep, I did it. Yeah, I admit it was me. But confess has the regret step.
Strong feelings of urgency and regret.
Oh.
At the top on the left-hand side.
At the end of the chapter. Confess negativities openly and honestly. I did this and that negativity and downfall. Yeah, it says that. While in addition to the former, saying confess is making it confession, regretting what we did in the past, and a vow by making a strong determination to restrain ourselves hereafter. Saying I do not conceal them, although we have committed some kind of negativity or downfall. To not conceal is to not entertain the wish to keep it secret from the very moment it is committed. Okay. Okay, we're all in safe territory, right? Okay, so yes, I can smell it too. Very moment is committed, not wanting to keep it secret from the very moment. So sometimes, I mean, just saying, not anyone's particular example, but just saying, we want to look good in front of the Lama, but behind the back, we're engaging all this naughtiness. But we come into the Gompa and look holy. Just saying. I'm not pointing any fingers, anything like that. Just saying how the mind works, isn't it? And that's concealing. That's deceit and concealing. So that's what we have to.
Confessional box.
Confessional box, yes. Saying I do not hide them, like hiding stolen property in a worldly sense. To hide is to say that we have not committed a negativity. Yeah, keeping it hidden. And again, if we're going to do this, isn't it? It means we don't understand karma. It doesn't matter if you hide it or not from, you still experience the results. So it's like child's play.
This thing with Sultram, even if I haven't been thinking about anything that I've done, I just blur everything out that I've done. I can't help myself. It just has this effect on me. Confess everything.
Confess everything. Well, good. Keep doing that. Stated truthfully, not hide it. Having committed negativity or downfall, be unwise to hide it, because although when hidden from someone such as a deaf mute, it would not be known by them. When hidden from the perfectly complete Buddhas who directly see all phenomena, since they pay attention to everything we do, any negativities and downfalls whatsoever, they would be displeased with us once more. Because not only did you do it, now you think I don't know you did it? You're trying to hide it? Well, you don't know it's not about that, but now you're trying to hide it, so you're creating more negativity yourself on top. So they probably have great compassion for your deluded and even more deluded mind.
Because you have to lie to cover it up.
You've got to lie to cover it up.
It's like a snowball.
I know. I always think of that. Was it Marcus Heinfeld? I hope it was, because I don't want to badmouth the wrong person. But you know the judge who passed away now, I think, who said I didn't drive the car or something like that, and then covered it and then had to lie more and more. And it just got so complicated. He ended up going to prison. Even if we were to commit such minor fault as digging earth, cutting grass, or drawing designs in the earth without a purpose. I think the cutting grass is for fully ordained, right? It refers to fully ordained. Since the Tathagatas pay attention to it, we should rely on conscientiousness, imagining ourselves as though situated in front of the Tathagatas, and reflect on the inappropriateness of transgressing the advice of the Sujatas. So I would love to, at any time when negativity is arising in my mind, to think, not in front of the Buddhas, not in front of the Buddhas, not in front of the Guru, not in front of His Holiness, not in front of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, not in front of the Buddhas. Wouldn't it be great to always just have that as a mantra? No, not in front of the Buddhas, which everything we do is in front of the Buddhas. So great, there is some in there. Good. Short, but to the point. Okay. All right, we're done with that. No, we're not. Visualization at the end. So we've visualized all these 35 Buddhas in front. And so then think that through. So often when you do this in a group retreat, this bit's not done. Did you do it, Copain, this bit, the visualization, the dissolution at the end?
No, I don't think we did. I think we just...
Yeah, it usually just stops there. That's right, that's what happens. So, it can be very useful to do, to familiarize with at least the doing of. But generally, when you go to a group retreat with Lama Zopa Rinpoche, they say, oh, don't do that bit. We don't have time. I'm just like, but we're on a retreat. If we can't do it on retreat, when do we have time? But, we just got to, have the schedule accordingly. Okay. So if you have the time, because you've visualized them all there, think that through the force of reciting, page 56, reciting the 35 Buddhas of confession and the medicine Buddhas, through the power of their pure prayers, through the power of your regret and the other opponent forces. So it all comes together, right? Because you've got the power of reliance, you've got your regret for stuffing up, you've got the actual practice you did, the remedy, and through the power of your having done these prostrations, the remedy, nectars and light rays descend from the holy bodies of the Buddhas. All the negative karmas, defilements and imprints are collected on your mental continuum from beginningless time. And you've probably got something pasted over the top of it, have you? No, good. From beginningless time are completely purified. So we have this in the Vajrasattva practice. We're familiarized with that practice. So here again, we're saying that is, have the conviction, I have been completely purified because I have done this complete practice completely to the best of my ability. Generate strong faith. Your mind has become completely pure, clean, clear, crystal. Rest there. So rest your mind in that purity, that clarity. Sort of like when you've taken vows and you haven't had time to break them yet. That straight awayness, just straight away. You haven't had time. So then, because you've done the hard yakka of all this, you've put in the effort, joyous perseverance, then think that all the Buddhas are extremely pleased with your resolution to avoid negative actions. They're extremely pleased with you, rejoicing, delighting in your practice. The medicine Buddhas, so we visualize them down below, dissolve into light, and that absorbs up into that, from the medicine Buddha row up into the next row, absorbs up into the Buddhas who are red in color, who are who? Which family? Amitabha, up here. Amitabha, Lotus family. Okay. And they, in turn, dissolve up into the Buddhas yellow in color, Ratnasambhava. They, in turn, dissolve into light, which absorbs into the Buddhas who are white in color, Varachana. They dissolve into light, which absorbs into the Buddhas blue in color, Akshobhya. They dissolve into light, which absorbs up into Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. Okay, all dissolve up. The elephant throne of the Buddha then dissolves into light. The throne, right? Dissolves into light, which absorbs up into the lotus, into the sun, into the moon. And And the Buddha, seated on these, comes to the crown of your head, turns to face the same direction you're facing, dissolves into blissful golden light, pours down through your crown, blessing your body, speech, and mind. Why would you not want to do this? Huh? Isn't it? Why would you not want to? Okay. Your Buddha nature. And then it's got, again, reflection on emptiness. So usually in our morning practice here, we just skip to the very abbreviated reflection on emptiness. Reflect on emptiness. So another reflection on emptiness. Reflect on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative actions. In emptiness, there is no creating of negative actions. In emptiness, there is no negative actions created. So when you've got time, you can pause after each one and reflect on that, the emptiness of the negative action, the emptiness of creating the negative action, the emptiness of negative actions created. I know when I first did this, it was in relation to Vajrasattva. I had no idea what it meant. So I just like, oh, that's cool. I mean, so slowly, you learn a little bit more. I mean, I don't know that I know so much more, but a little bit of having, I mean, just to say, having studied a little bit and then reflected on that a little bit, meditated on that a little bit, you know, more and more comes. There is no this and that, no me and you, nothing. In emptiness, in emptiness. In other words, emptiness, what's the flip side? Everything is a dependent arising, conventional truth. In emptiness, everything is one taste. I love that, one taste. So from that, so just feeling, getting a feeling of everything that arises, the emptiness of it arises at the same time. From this emptiness, everything comes into existence. I love this one. Whatever exists is the manifestation of emptiness. Oh, actually, I like the one. Because of emptiness, everything is possible. Everything is possible. Because of emptiness, everything is possible. It's good contemplation. Very good contemplation. Okay, so everyone clear about the prostration practice?
You don't have to be an uber expert to start. Like, you can work your way into it, can't you?
So Venerable Yangshan, like you did say you completed, yes. 18 months. She completed, excellent. And yeah, you learn more as you go along. You know, it's one monk, different tradition. Actually, now I heard he's an ex-monk. I can't even remember his name. I just remember that we were together and at the Dalai Lama's teachings, and he was very kind to me, you know. He almost carried me back to my tent when I couldn't carry myself. I was like, no, I'll just stay here on the ground. It's fine. Just needed air in the 40 plus heat in a crowd crush. Okay, so, yeah, so as it says in Pabonka Rinpoche, and this monk really brought it home, he said, first time he did the 100,000 prostrations, he went back to his Lama because they say, you know, when you complete, let them know. I've completed your advice, you know, when you complete your long list. Please leave long numbers open. Well, last time Rinpoche was here, there was some sort of indication, you know, there's the hints that, you know, I'm not going to be around too long. I went straight to Geshe, like, guess what? Rinpoche said he won't be around. I said, oh, 15 years should be fine. How many years ago was that? Anyway, yeah, just to say. Anyway, the Guru is with you lifetime to lifetime up to enlightenment. Not that it means kick back, relax. It doesn't at all. Urgency. So this monk, he said, I went back and said to my Lama, yes, I have completed the 100,000 prostrations, but I didn't do them mindfully. He was very honest. And his Lama said, start again. So, you know, it can become a life practice. So we get fixated on this, oh, now I've done that. Done and dusted. Am I fully purified? Absolutely not, but, you know. So it can be a lifetime practice, or at least maintaining that continuity. And it can come along too when you do deity retreats. Like, I mean, same with Vajrasattva. Oh, I've done the 100,000. Now, it's said that with Vajrasattva, just segueing slightly, that with a mind, as Lama Yeshe says in Becoming Vajrasattva, the blue one, I don't have it here, it's down the library. It was previously called Path of Purification. So in the pilgrimage reading, it refers to Path of Purification. Same book, Becoming Vajrasattva. Okay. We've got both editions in the library. We've got multiple copies. So with that, you know, Lama says, if you're single point of concentration and you've got the mantra and you've got the visualization, like you've got everything happening simultaneously, single point of concentration throughout your whole 3 months of doing a 3-month retreat, then you can purify everything. Now, that's a pretty high standard, right? Because when you go through these retreats, has anyone here done a 3-month retreat, by the way? 1-month retreat? Anyway, you've done the 1-month Copan. There are highs, there are lows.
Oh, yeah.
And then there are lowers.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's lower. and then the 3-week mark comes. And it's like everything hits the proverbial, isn't it? Everyone has their own highs and lows, but this is the process of purification. It's not for the faint-hearted. The process of purification is, if I've got these habituations on my mind, frankly, giving up smoking was easy, even though it wasn't easy for me. It took a very long time, way back, you know. I mean, 1983, I gave up smoking. But it took a few years of trying. I thought that was hard enough. It's nothing like this. It is nothing like this. This is heavy duty stuff. So it does take a determination, continuing determination to continue on and do. As Yangchen La said this morning, I don't want to start this again. If that motivates you, go for it. Because it's possible. It's possible. Proof positive. Proof positive. So Yangchen La, do you want to say something about doing the Vajrasattva? How you'd manage that one? Come over.
How many days?
More than days, I think.
With Vajrasattva, I came to the short retreat led by Venerable Chucky, and I learnt the mantra, which wasn't easy for me. It's got a lot of syllables. There's
100.
a lot happening. And there's the visualization, and there's, you know, it's a package with a practice.
Excuse me, you learn in Sanskrit or Tibetan?
Sanskrit.
You'll be right. You won't have any trouble, Florin.
Yes, you've already got Sanskrit, right?
Yeah, it'd be cool for you. And then I just went, okay, I'll do the extra bit of research, make sure I'm clear in my mind about what I've got to do. And then I just started. And I do the minimums a mala. So that's generally all I manage most days. So 100 of the 100-syllable mantras. Again, you just keep going. And I find it's, for me, because I'm busier now than I think I've perhaps ever been, ever, I do it.
That's what happens when you're ordained. Did I tell you that before ordination?
You didn't. So I try and do them first thing in the morning, because then whatever happens during the day, I've done my commitment. But different things work for different people. You don't need a special room. You don't need lots of special stuff. You know, it's an everyday activity if you're a Buddhist. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So with both the prostrations and Vajrasattva, as far as discovering Buddhism is concerned, just putting that proviso, that you can do it wherever you are. Like you don't have to be on the same seat. So traditionally to do these Nyondro preliminary practices would be you'd be on the one seat and there's a whole ritual for blessing the seat. You do it in a retreat. That is possible when it is possible, like we did the Vajrasattva retreat here at the beginning of last year, and we intend in the latter part of next year when the whole world is seemingly planning to be traveling again, that we will be offering again. But, you know, anyway, that's our goal, that's our intention, because we do want to be able to offer it every 2 years. And it's suddenly become more urgent as well because of the lack of international travel. And to my mind, it's like everything's available to us here. That's quite phenomenal. We don't have to go somewhere else for any of this. We have the Lam Rim retreat, we have the Nyungnes, we have Vajrasattva, you can do prostrations where you are. So I just like, we've got all the conditions. It is quite unique in the world, really. So we even have ordination here during COVID, even.
I was thinking that this, so when I was thinking about
Yes.
the plan, when you just said that this morning, I was thinking, yeah, I was really fortunate to go, but everything we have here, like I've been
Yes.
down to DTL to do Lam Rim down there, and but you do it all here, and we have, you know, I was even thinking like we're going to have a kora, we're going to have a kora. Someone's going to be making a kora, so we can actually walk around
The core around the
Yeah,
Nalanda Masters.
Well, but no, Nalanda Masters. Right
Oh,
up
sorry,
to
the
top,
whole
and
property.
go right around and down, and that's the aspiration. I mean, to be able to do that.
Which I have to say, if you're doing a retreat, is perfect to have total core of all the holy objects, because then when you go for your daily walks, which you need to do,
Yes.
you're actually doing it with added extra of built-in virtue. I mean, it's a Pure Land anyway, but by doing a Kora and adding that in, it's fantastic.
And all the masters here.
All the masters, we seem to be getting more and more statues. Quite phenomenal, really. I mean, Geshe-la's on fire with the.
He's creating something.
He's creating something massive.
He's creating the future.
Yes. Yes.
He's creating the future.
Thank you for saying that. It's absolutely the future. As Candrela said, there'll be, what, 400 nuns?
That's right. Well, we've got I've actually got that lovely drawing.
Yes. Leonie's group last week did the whole pictorial representation of the, how many thousand nuns? And
400 huts and
400 huts.
100 million zillion people coming up to study and
100 gazillion people study. Yeah, fantastic. We'll make it happen, right?
We'll make it happen.
There used to be 50-metre golden Buddha going up on the mountain.
Well, you know, some stage.
That big block away, I can see a big Buddha going up over the tree.
If you mention to Geshe-la that block of land and Buddha, I can see it happening.
Come over the top of the, you know, old knob here, I can see a big golden Buddha sitting on the mountain.
Well, Geshe-la's already got the Guru Rinpoche down here. For the,
Yes, we're very, very fortunate.
Venerable Carson said the other evening on Thursday night that he'd come here and thought, oh yeah, right, and then he thought, oh, I'll go back to India, and then he realised that everything was here.
yeah, he was going to go back to India to study, and he said, oh, actually, there's basic program here. I can study here. And
Yeah, and that, you know, he's really smart. In terms of
oh,
life.
very smart.
And he thinks everything's here as well.
Yeah.
That's, you know,
And also very well organized.
Sorry?
As that, he also is very well organized, the courses.
Yes, yes. Yeah, great.
There's a road where you turn off from Bruce Highway to go past Mountain Injury, and there looks like a big stoop.
There is the Yandina Coolam Road, and there's a Gadampa Stupa up the top there. Now, Gary Fox knows something about how that worked. He had some input into that. And one day I drive past it all the time. One day I will drive up there. It's the Yandina Coolam Road.
There was something in one of the local pages.
Yeah, it's up on the hill, and it's just.
Oh, really? On
Yeah.
private land, there's a big
And I mean,
stupa up there.
you can go
Wow.
up there apparently, but I believe, Gary told me, the original people that built it don't own that land anymore, but you can ask permission to go in there.
Wow.
One day I must go there. Then
Yeah,
I
let's
take
do.
Ishla up there.
Well, it was interesting
offerings.
because when I was looking at the reading again on pilgrimage and I was thinking, well, we just have to do local pilgrimage. Here we go.
Well, we
We've
could
got
pilgrim
the
at
stupa
We
and
went up there last Saturday and the sun was just hitting it, so it was like glowing. And it was like,
wow.
Yeah.
I said, "That's a stupa."
And there's a
I'd
stupa there, golden stupa.
So the thing is, when you're going towards Coolum, you're going in the right direction. But when you're coming home, you're going in the wrong direction.
To circumambulate, yeah. That's right. Well, you just have to stop and go do Kora.
It wasn't a
White dog.
it was a,
Kadumpa one,
it wasn't
No,
that shape.
no,
It was
it's
the,
a-
no,
bell-shaped one.
A
yeah,
gold one.
the bell shape. No, it wasn't gold,
Oh,
white.
okay, yeah,
Mm.
pretty sure. And one day, soon I will drive up there.
Well, if Gary was involved, it will be,
Yeah, I've got to
correct,
find out
stupa.
exactly,
Okay, so I'll just read through just for everyone's edification and give you something to think about overnight, because I think we've all said I believe everyone's actually familiar with the Vajrasattva practice. And when we did the 3-month retreat, this was the go-to, which is also recommended, the preliminary practice of Vajrasattva. So there are a couple of different versions of Vajrasattva, and actually different traditions have slightly different versions, but of different versions of the visualization. From here we have the single solitary Vajrasattva, and here we have Haruka Vajrasattva, which is the one that Lama gave the transmission of very early on to Westerners, which is the one that has been traditionally used for the Vajrasattva retreat and for discovering Buddhism. And as Leonie mentioned, Rinpoche gave last time at Kopan solitary Vajrasattva. And so there are both of those, and they're, all of that's in this. So it's all there. It's got all the aspects needed. Again, like with reading about commentaries on the prostrations and so forth, I really recommend reading different, like read Becoming Vajrasattva, How to Meditate, Venerable Sangye Kadro's visualizations there, visualizations here. Like you hear just a word here and there differently, or emphasizes a little bit more of the visualization in this aspect, that aspect. And then as you do the practice, you can spend more time on different parts of the visualization. As we've talked about previously, usually when, as Venerable Yangshan said, that, just learning the mantra was an achievement. So it was a great achievement. But once you've learned the mantra, then you can put more time then, say, into the visualization of the mantra or the visualization of the deity. It's always above the head of the crown, which is why you don't have to be on the one seat. However, just to say, to complete, how to complete the 100,000 long Vajrasattva mantras, okay, I don't think we need the whys and wherefores because we know about that. And very interestingly, Lama Tsongkhapa is our sort of go-to for prostrations, as in terms of inspiration. Then it seems that Atisha is our go-to as our inspiration for Vajrasattva, in that Lama Tsongkhapa, it doesn't appear that Lama, with a commentary to say that Lama Tsongkhapa really engaged extensively in Vajrasattva practice, whereas we know about the prostrations and mandala offerings and so forth and so forth. So, but here we do know about Atisha, and that constantly engaging this practice. So we have both for discovering Buddhism as again. So as Lama said, best to do in retreat because you're more likely to complete if you have that condition. In a full-time retreat situation, of course, we have coming up at the end of the year, instead of 5 days, it's snuck back to 4 days. And that's so that it can be a residential retreat. Here, we're not doing online. However, probably one of the sessions, full sessions, will be recorded so that if people want to do at home, there's at least one recorded session. Having said that, there is, again, on the online centre, FPMT, Online Education Centre, Online Learning Centre, OLC, Kendall Magnuson and her guiding through. And that's the one Sally recommended, because it's in the Karma module. But I think they've also popped it into the special integration, module 14 as well. There's lots of links in there. Yeah.
Module 14 is free.
And it's free, yeah.
So you can download like the Vajrasattva audio, but it's all audio and there's some.
So I put that link into the email. So you should have that link. Okay, so if it's not possible to do in a full-time retreat, which takes about 3 months, it can be done as intensive daily practice. Venerable Yangshan has explained a little bit about how she has done as daily practice, and incorporating with doing it with retreats and retreat days and so forth. I mean, there's nothing to stop us here, especially at the moment, putting on more just one-day retreats, Vajrasattva, if there's an expression of interest in that happening every so often, or a weekend or whatever, so it can happen. Again, you know, the 100,000, you've got to put on the extra 10%, which 111, 111. So you need to keep a tally. Yeah. So, and it is, yes, the long mantra. So as a daily practice, generally, Rinpoche has given the advice that either 21 of the long mantra or 28 of the short. That's fine for daily practice. For the accumulation for this, has to be the long mantra. You can do it home, daily practice, combination daily practice and retreat. So you can do like that. Okay. I think that's it.
This would be good, this short Vajrasattva retreat would be a good opportunity to start.
Yeah, the short Vajrasattva retreat, good opportunity to familiarise a little bit more and have the confidence to continue on as Yangshan La did.
Then if you stop halfway through the year, for some reason, you've got the backup of being able to do the 3-month one.
So Venerable Wangmo is planning ahead for, in case she conks out again, that really puts pressure on us to really run that 3-month retreat at the end of next year. But really, I mean, we have all the facilities. We have the capacity here. And last time we did in the Tara room in the hottest months of the year, and it's now aircon.
Yes.
So anyway, like that. All right. So I think that's quite enough for today. Graham's already overloaded. He was full to the top a little while ago. So tomorrow we will have, because we've got still to cover the Lam Rim retreat and Yungne. Again, we have both opportunities here, so they come along. And just to encourage people that even you're not thinking about the certificate, because it's not really about the certificate. Have you worked that out? You know, it's about our opportunity for massive purification, accumulation of merit, which is what our life is about, to progress as far as we can, as much as we can in this life. If you think His Holiness the Dalai Lama recently saying, you know, this earth is, you know, maybe 30, 40 years, and then he said maybe a century or two, and then you sort of relax a little bit, thinking, oh, we've got a bit more time. which is a bit of crazy thinking, of course, but we never know how much time we have. But as His Holiness said, you know, do as much as we can, and who knows, you could be in the Pure Land and even see the earth disappear, dissolve, explode, whatever, you know, the ending, destruction of this world system. But that means our mind having been purified to that extent, and, you know, and so forth. So, you know, as much as we can, as much as we can, and that we have each other. That is so important to maintain that buddy system ongoing. So thank you very much for today. I don't want to take up any more of your time today, and dedicate to, may we continue to be able to be the Dharma jaws, inspiring others on the path, because others are inspired by you. Just saying. And some of them are coming to join us tomorrow for lunch. But anyway, that's not about lunch. It's about building a spiritual Dharma community, you know, because in this way, as Lama says, you know, better opportunity to create the conditions to be able to continue to on our own spiritual path to enlightenment, to benefit the world, to benefit all beings. Okay, so thank you very much for today. And enjoy the Kora. There's still a few light hours left. We have a lot of hours of light in Queensland, don't we? It starts early, 4 a.m. See you, Kate. See you, Pauline. Thanks for hanging in there.